Hello, this is Teacher Marco from phuketpals. I want to welcome you again to this GED Social Studies screencast. And today, I'd like to talk to you about a test skill builder on how to recognize historical perspectives. Now, if you find this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. And please don't forget to share and click on the bell icon as well. It helps us help more people like you. Now, why do we need to study this particular topic, how to recognize historical perspective? Because there will be a lot of primary source on your GED social studies tests, and learning how to recognize historical perspectives will make you more comfortable on handling questions with primary source on your tests. So let's begin. So again, why do we need to learn this skill? Because as you study current or historical events, you will have to analyze actions taking place or the beliefs being expressed. This is really helpful if you are not working in taking the social studies test. Exposing yourself to these materials will definitely help you develop these skills. To understand events or statements, you must carefully consider time period and perspective, or the experiences and viewpoints of the people involved. So we will try to have an exercise later and try to apply this particular concept. Using this skill will help you understand cause and effect relationships, be able to more accurately predict outcomes and make inferences. These skills that were mentioned, like understand cause and effect, predict outcomes and making inferences, are really helpful approaches and tools that you can use before you take the test. Now, to learn how to recognize historical perspectives, try to ask yourself these questions. When was the statement made? This is the first thing that you will try to ask after reading the statement. To what event or time does this statement refer? What other related events had occurred before or were occurring at that time? Also, who is the author or speaker of the statement? What past experiences or considerations might influence that person's viewpoint? So let's try to read this particular text. As you can see, try to check who made the statement, the date. Alright, so let's take a look. I understand the reasons that govern the decision to approve these interrogation methods, and I know that those who approve them and those who employ them in the interrogation have captured terrorists were admirably dedicated to protecting the American people from harm. I know they were determined to keep faith with the victims of terrorism and prove to our enemies that the United States would pursue justice tirelessly, relentlessly, and successfully, no matter how long it took. But I dispute that it was right to use these methods, which I do not believe were in the best interest of justice or our security or the ideals that define us and which we have sacrificed much to defend. Now, with that being said, I believe you already have a clue about what Senator John McCain, is trying to point out. So now, let's try to check what is the main idea. I dispute that it was right to use these methods, which I do not believe were in the best interest of justice or our security or the ideals that define us, and which we have sacrifice much to defend. So basically, you will usually see the main idea either on the first part of the statement or the last. So additional information provides valuable background knowledge, help us to understand the speaker's point of view. So when you're trying to infer a particular statement, you must have at least a background knowledge. If you don't have a background knowledge, then you will have difficulty in understanding the speaker's point of view just using the clues that we have on this statement. So ask yourself, when was the statement made? Okay, 2011. That's a clue, May 12, 2011. Then ask, to what event or time does this statement refer? Okay, if you take a look at the highlights that I've made, the decision to approve these interrogation methods. Okay, interrogation of captured terrorists. The victims of terrorism are enemies. Now on your test, you will be given some piece of paper to write to help you out while you are taking your test. So I suggest that you try to write these keywords when you're trying to read a statement. So the speaker is referring to events that took place during the U.S. War on Terror. What other related events occurred before or during that time? May 2, 2011, U.S. located and killed Osama bin Laden. That's your background knowledge that you should know. Recall that bin Laden organized the terrorist attacks on New York City and Washington, D.C. on September 11, 2001. The United States declared a war on terrorism following those attacks. So ask yourself, who is the author of this speaker? It's Senator John McCain. Okay. Senator McCain gave this speech before the U.S. Senate. Now ask, what past experiences or current considerations might influence the person's point of view? Now, just for your background knowledge, John McCain served as a pilot in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. In 1967, McCain's plane was shot down over Vietnam. He survived but broke his arms and leg. McCain was then captured by the Viet Cong and held as a prisoner of war. McCain was beaten, denied medical care, and held in solitary confinement. Ooh. So McCain was eventually released and later became a U.S. congressman before becoming a senator. McCain has been awarded several medals for his service in the Navy. Now that we have background information about the speaker, we are able to better understand historical perspective. McCain makes several statements prior to giving his opinion. So McCain's military experience as well as his experience in the government give him the authority to make this statement. As a former soldier, McCain understands that soldiers are motivated to protect the U.S. citizens from enemies, right? That's why he is making this statement. As a leader who also lived through September 11, McCain understood the significance of catching the terrorists who attacked the United States. So, for both of these situations, he has the authority in issuing these statements. McCain's main argument is that using torture during the interrogation of terrorist suspects is not the best interest of the United States. So that's how we analyze. He also believes that using torture during interrogation is inconsistent with the ideals that define us, which we have sacrificed much to defend. So that's how we analyze a statement. That's how we try to recognize historical significance within a statement. So if you know more about McCain's background, it makes his speech more interesting and easier to understand. Okay, so it takes a lot of time, but my advice is for you to keep on reading um, newspapers, news clips, and this will help you out to be more aware of the background, especially that we have international students. I have been teaching students who didn't grow up in the North America, so it's really important to expose yourself in a lot of materials, diverse materials, for in order for you to gain a lot of background knowledge before taking the test. Now, so once you read statements, once you read statements, try to make a summary. It will actually help you out. So Senator McCain gave a speech before the U.S. Senate on May 12th. So he spoke against torture. So he believes that torture is not good. All right, and he gives his unique historical perspective because of his experience. Right. So remember, learning how to identify historical perspectives will help you accurately evaluate an event or a statement. To understand historical perspectives, you must consider both the time period, highlight on that, as well as the experiences and viewpoints of the people involved. So that's a technique, all right? Time period, and also take note who made this statement, and also if you will have some background knowledge about the person who made the statement, that's a plus. Okay, this skill will also help you evaluate information related to current events or your other students. So I hope that I was able to help you today. All right, and please, again, don't forget to subscribe in our channel, and don't forget to share this skill that we are trying to share to you guys. I want to thank you again. This is Teacher Marco, and have a nice day.